Good morning, friends. Today I am here for another course, which is aircraft systems. The course code of this is AAEB 21. My name is Dr. Dwivedhi, professor from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad, India. The aircraft systems. Today I am in the OBE, outcome-based education for aircraft systems, that is AAEB 21, lecture numbers O. In this I will be discussing about course description, course outcomes, program outcomes, and its mapping. Due to the implementation of our new education policy, the outcome-based education has become very much important. We have to teach the student, and students should also be able to produce some visible and seen output. The output should be examined. Output from the student, what they have learned, it should be known to each and everyone. Focusing on this, every course is designed, and the faculty who is taking the course has to develop its outcome-based education, how this objectives, program outcomes, course objectives are attained, and how these things are mapped. Today I am going to discuss on this issue, and we will see how this thing go ahead. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about outcome-based education. Then I will go for the Bloom's taxonomy. Then going to discuss about course description of aircraft systems, course objective of this course, that is aircraft systems, course outcomes of aircraft systems course, program outcomes, and how these course outcomes, program outcomes are mapped so that we can get how much percentage of attainment we are going to achieve. With this overview, I am going to go ahead with further description of outcome-based education. So if you see here, outcome-based education or outcome-based education, both are same, is an educational theory that based each part of an education system around goals, and goals are outcomes. Means in this education system, or based on the goals are set by the faculty of that course, and these goals to be measurable and attainable. By the end of the educational experience, each student should have achieved the given goal. There is no single specified style of teaching or assessment in outcome-based education. Here, totally depend upon the particular teacher or faculty who is teaching the course, and the faculty has to assess what type of parameters he or she is assigning to the student, so that the course can be handled course can be explained in such a way that students should able to attain the given outcomes or the goals. So in this OBE system, instead of classes, opportunities and assessment should all help student achieve the specific outcomes. These outcomes are assigned prior to starting of the course, and these outcomes are framed by the faculty, and then it is assessed by the senior faculty of the department and the experienced faculty with head of the department of the particular department. All have to do thorough study on this course objective, which are framed, and then these things are implemented. The role of the faculty adapts into instructor, trainer, facilitator and or mentor based on the outcome targeted. So it is not only teaching. In olden time or the before this system, teacher used to only teach the course, but now due to the implementation of outcome based education, now choice based credit system CBCS is also implemented, so that student can opt for their choice from the different given courses, and the instructor or the faculty who can act as an instructor, as a trainer, as a facilitator or mentor based on the outcome targeted. And these outcomes are framed by the faculty itself, the faculty who is taking the course. But these outcomes has to be obtained during the particular semester, and there are different methods how we can assess whether the student have achieved the outcomes or not. So we can divide this attainment into two groups. One is the internal, another is the external. In internal, we take some examinations like CIA, continuous internal assessment. That is, in our institute, it is for 30 marks, and out of that 20 marks are from the written examinations of 2 hours, and remaining 10 marks are divided into 3 groups. There is the concept video 5 marks, then tech talk 5 for 5 marks, and or you can select any experimental technique which you want to assess. So these things are made so that the different types of program outcomes, course outcomes are attained. If you talk about the external, in this different types of surveys are conducted from the student, from the parents, from the industry, from the alumni, and after obtaining those type of surveys and the feedback, we attain our external assessment. So in this type of system, so many stakeholders are there, and all have to take part to get a very good system of outcome based education, and the student should learn to practice. The student has to do something and then apply and show the object. Not only learning, the student has to do something, and by doing, if he or she understand very well the concept, the student should able to implement and show the product. So the system in which the theory which was taught by the faculty has to be make a model, make something so that it should be visible that student has acquired a sufficient knowledge on the particular course. So that is the benefit of outcome based education. It is not a bookish knowledge. The book knowledge has to be transferred to the experimental laboratory work. From the laboratory, the student has to make some model which can be shown on the ground. On this issue, we undertake some expo here in our institute. Recently, we have conducted MET Expo. In that, the project-based learning has been demonstrated by the students, and there was a very good competition between our internal students from different branches. Prize was awarded from each branch, 3 prizes, and this inculcates a very good encouragement for the student so that they can learn the things, they can produce the items, the product based on their learning during the class. So that was the reason for this. Now, this outcome-based education is depend upon the Bloom's taxonomy, a very good researchers on the education. That is Mr. Bloom. He has made some taxonomy, and if you see here, we can see a different level of your level of knowledge. This knowledge we have divided, the Blooms have divided this knowledge into 6 categories. If you see this triangle, if you see the from bottom to top, if you see here, this is the bottom, and here is the your remember. This area of the remember is very huge, biggest. So the learner remember, most of the student has to have this remember. You cannot step directly to this create. If you want to go directly to here create, you have to go step by step. From remember to understand, from understand to apply, from apply to analyze, from analyze to evaluate, evaluate to create. And if you see area of the create is very, very small. If you take 100 students of BTech, maybe 1 or 2 students may reach up to this level or may not reach also in that particular course, because this level, this create and evaluate, they are very huge. Knowledge is required. However, on completion of all the courses, when they are able to do the project, that time they are able to create, but not all. I can assure you that only 20 to 30% of the students are able to create something. Evaluation, I think in the so many are doing, but if you see a particular course, remember is very, very important. Everyone has to remember their theories, their equations, their laws, and then if you know this all remembering part, then you can go for understanding. Means you have to explain the idea of concept. When I talk about remember means recall facts and basic concept. Recall means just you have to remember, you have to learn, you have to mug up the equations, the theories, the laws of, just like Newton's laws, Ohm's law, all different types of Bernoulli's theorem. These all things you have to remember. You should be able to write. So this recall the facts and basic concept. In this, some verbs are there. Every level, some verb has to define, and by this verb, the course outcomes are made. So in this, remember, the define is the define, duplicate, list, memorize, repeat, state. State the Newton's law. Memorize the number of parts in automobile. List the advantages and disadvantages of the solar system. Duplicate means just you have to reproduce. Define Newton's law. Okay, like this. If you are doing like this, it is a very lowest level of understanding, lowest level of knowledge, and that knowledge everyone supposed to have. On completion of this remembering level, the learners has to go to the understand level. Understand level is slightly higher level than the remember. So in this, explain ideas or concept. You should be able to explain how Newton's laws are applied in the rocket, how the force is depend upon the Newton's second law, how Bernoulli's equations are applicable, how the lift is produced by the pressure difference on the airfoil. Like this, you should be able to explain. In this, we have some special verbs like classify, describe, discuss, explain, identify, locate, recognize, report, select, translate. These are the few verbs. Your course outcomes should start with these verbs, like classify different types of drag, describe the induced drag, discuss the difference between the induced drag and the frictional drag, explain the procedure to obtain aircraft performance, identify different parts of the aircraft, locate, like this, recognize helicopter, aircraft and missile, recognize, report, select and translate. So these are the few verbs. These verbs has to be used in our framing the course objectives. Next, after understanding, if the student are able to remember, they are able to understand the concept, then they should be able to apply. Just now I told that first they have to remember and understand, then they should do. Then last one is to show. This is the process. First, second and third. So minimum these things should be there. So remember, understand, apply, and analyze, evaluate and create. So if I talk about apply, so use the information in a new situation, because you have read that Newton's law, you have understood the Newton's law, but how you will apply the Newton's law? So this you have to understand that everything which you explain in the class, it should be up to doing level. Apply is up to this. Apply means this. This is the apply here. In this you have remember and understand. First level. Then apply and analyze. Analyze. Then in this only evaluate. Then last it comes to show. It is a create. So I have divided this 6 knowledge, cognitive knowledge. That is the first level. This is my concept. Okay, so and then this from here to here is second level, and this is the your third level. It is a show level. I told you very few students are able to come in this. Most of the students are in this first level. This first level. Try to go the second level, that is apply. If you are able to apply, then you have to go to analyze. If you are able to do analysis of this your application, try to evaluate its importance. If you are able to do this all 3 things, then you go for creating the product. Based on the theory which you have learned in the class, try to make it a product, and that product has to be useful for any of the requirement in the society. Then only we can say that it is useful. Now after application, if you see in application, you have execute, Application means use information in a new situation. You have to get the new situation like that, and then you have to apply it. So execute, implement, solve, use, demonstrate, interpret, operate, schedule, sketch. These things we have to, all the students who are able to apply has to be in this level, and the faculty has to frame its course outcome starting from these verbs. Next level I will go for analyze. In analyze, draw connection among ideas. In this we have some verbs. They are the differentiate, organize, relate, compare, contrast, distinguish, examine, experiment, question, test. So you have applied the Newton's law. First you have remembered all the three laws. That is the first case. Second, you have understood how these things are made, how it is derived, how F is equal to ma, how this action and the reaction, third law, and how the first law is based on the inertia. They are very important law. If you understand very basics of these laws, it will be very easy to apply. This you can apply on the lift generation, you can apply on the rocket, you can apply on the boat, even you can apply this thing for your vehicle. You are moving with the help of these laws only. You cannot move without Newton's law. But how much you are able to apply? If I ask what is the Newton law, what is the Newton's second law, all will say immediately F is equal to ma, F is equal to ma. But what is that? Concept has to understand. That is called understand. Then how, if you know the concept, then only you can go and apply for a real scenario. First you do some numericals, find out how to solve, and if you are getting some result and you are getting some minus value, so what is the meaning of minus value and what is the meaning of plus value? If you are getting the acceleration at minus 10 meter per second square and you are getting plus 10 meter per second square, so what is the difference, and how you will evaluate, how you will analyze, and after that you evaluate that whether the model which you are setting is correct for our requirement or not. If you are able to do this, then only you go for creating the product. Don't just go and create like that. Okay. So being an engineer, you should go systematic. A layman can make directly. They can create. You might have seen so many people have made helicopters. Okay. But after that, it has collapsed. Okay. But if you go the systematic way, engineering style of working, you go with the proper design, use the proper tools to understand, learn some software before you go for the real product. Okay, so, and at the final, if you go for analyze, then differentiate, organize, relate, compare, contrast, distinguish, examine, experiment, questions. Question is very, very important. Once I ask the question in class, very rare people are asking the question, because only if you have the confidence up to apply level, you have the knowledge, then only you can ask the question. No one can ask the question if you are not satisfied, remember, understand and apply. Okay, so asking question is not so easy task. If you are in that fourth level, then only you will be able to ask the question. And then now the last, okay, so it is evaluate. So in this, justify a stand or decision, apprise, argue, defend, judge, select, support, value, critique, weigh. These are the verbs which are used for this evaluate level of knowledge, cognitive knowledge, and in this you have to appraise the result Whatever you have got in application, you analyze, and then you can find out what you can get out of that. That is the meaning of evaluation. Then last but not the least, you produce a new or original work. When I talk about the product, it doesn't mean one item, but it can be a theory, it can be a knowledge, it can be something new which is not existing. If you can do a small thing, a small modification on the existing item, existing theory, existing model, if you do something and it improves the performance, it can save the time, it can save the money, it can save the life of anyone. Safety aspects of product is increased, or anything which is not there, and you are able to make something new. A small point, a drop of water is also a very good research. Try to make a small contribution in that course which you are learning. In this course, I am taking the aircraft systems. We will be trying to learn something, and I will also ask you people to make something new, suggest something new which is not existing. Okay, so last is in this you have to design your course outcomes. Should start with design a product for use in aerospace, assemble and make it working, construct a model for use in drone. Like this, develop, formulate, author. You author a chapter, you author a paper, you write a paper on particular topic. Every faculty has to make the student to write the paper on some topic. Then only they will learn. So, writing paper is a create level. It is not a small level. So, we should have such type of thing in which students should be able to author some papers, some chapters, some articles in newspaper, or our college magazines. They should be able to write on particular topic. So this is the Bloom's taxonomy, and hope it will be very useful for the students, and you all have to go in the same line and try to develop this idea. Now I will discuss about the course description. We have to prepare, the faculty has to prepare the course description for a particular course in which he or she has to teach. So a course description is a brief summary of the significant learning experience for a course. Course description appears in individual course outline and in the program of studies for individual program. Course description should be student-centered rather than teacher-centered or a course-centered. This is very, very important. Normally what happens, the teacher will make by their own, it is not a good the system. Teacher should think of the student. Student may be a very high level of thinking, and there may be so many which are in the lower level of thinking. A balanced approach has to be made by the student-centered, because if you have the low level of learning and the high level or middle level, we have to divide the system in such a way that all should feel happy that yes, I am doing something in the class. Try to make in such a way that your every topic should be student-centered. You should focus on such a way that they should be able to make some model. You can do some experimental analysis. I am trying to make in my course, I am taking to wind tunnel. I am also making sure that they are doing some simulations in XFLR or CFD software, CAD modeling. These all things we can make them so that they will learn the things. Then use brief outcome-based descriptive phrases of active work. Just now in the Bloom's taxonomy, I have shown that how we have to use the particular verb for a particular level of knowledge. Be clear, concise and easy to understand. So try to be very much clear, very much capsule-like thing, very small and easy to understand. Try to understand the things very well. Detail significance, learning experience and benefit a student can expect. So we should try to give some experiences, what we have learned after so many of working in different industries, in academia, research, industrial visit. We should organize some events also, so that the experience which they are learning, they should get the benefit out of that. Align with the outcomes identified in the rest of the course outline. Our course description should be aligned with the other program outcomes. So I will talk about course objective, which the faculty has to set for himself. These objectives are not for the student. This is for the faculty. Faculty has to make sure that he or she should go on the line with the objective which he himself has set for the course. A course objective specifies a behavior, skill or action that a student can demonstrate if they have achieved mastery of the objective. So we have to make such a way that behavior, skill and action of the student should be able to show that they have understood, they have learned the things and they have got the master, or they have fully understood the concept. That is the mastery of the objective. Objectives need to be written in such a way that they are measurable. So understand that whenever we write the objective, it should be measurable. It should be known how much percentage. If you take in the 1 to 10 scale, how much scale? Is it 3 scale, 4, 5, 6 or 10 of 10? How much he is able to achieve. So it should be measurable by some sort of assessment, like we are doing here, measuring by the help of CIE, CIA and then SEE examinations. So we are measuring that how much you are able to understand. Everything in the course should work together to ensure student master the course object. The faculty has to make sure that he has to frame the course objective in such a way that the student should get all the knowledge, whatever we have intended to get the knowledge. Okay, so this is our objective. And if you see here in this aircraft systems, I have put the following objective. The fundamental concept of aircraft systems, its classification and contribution towards the aircraft to fulfill the requirement and missions. Various subsystems, that is electrical, air conditioning, hydraulic and pneumatic of an aircraft systems. The working principle of engine control and the airplane control subsystems of the modern aircraft systems. The design concept of advanced aircraft systems and controls like fly-by-wire and autopilots. They are the advanced. So we have to go step by step, and the last we should give some feedback, some aspect of modern technology. For this course, I have just like put a fly-by-wire and autopilot. These are the very modern control devices which are developed, and we should try to learn something about these items. However, this may not be in the part of the syllabus, but we have to go out of syllabus. We have to go beyond the syllabus, so that something new has to be learned. That we have to make sure that some advanced feature in each aircraft or in each course, we have to ask them to do something and try to give some new knowledge on a particular course, so that they can also develop some new concept, new knowledge as a part of their course outcome. Now, we have to see here that course outcomes, and I have already discussed before that this course outcomes are based on the Bloom's taxonomy, and there we have seen that there are 6 levels of cognitive knowledge, and they are the remember, understand, apply, then analyze, evaluate, analysis, and after that create. So like this, we have to make sure that we have to form a course objectives and course outcomes. Course outcomes are based on the student knowledge. Means student have to get these outcomes, whatever we have framed here. So course outcomes are central to any course curriculum. They articulate to student, faculty and other stakeholder what student will achieve in each course and how their learning will be measured. These are the course outcomes. So articulate to student, faculty and other stakeholder. Other stakeholder means their parents, their relatives, their alumni and other people. Student will achieve in course and how their learning will be measured. So how and how much they will be able to learn and how you measure these things has to be put in the course outcomes. Okay, then we have the learning outcomes is a measurable, observable and specific statement that clearly indicates what a student should know and be able to do as a result of learning. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes, and here I have put something course outcomes. And so if you see here, the first one is a demonstrate the concept of aircraft systems and its subsystems like airframe systems, vehicle system and their subsystems for understanding operating process of aircraft. So it is understanding. Identify the mission requirements and performance requirement of avionics system, mission systems for better understanding and operation of aircraft system. It is in apply level. Then make use of electrical power and this thing generation. It is also, so like this I have formed some this thing course outcomes. Illustrate the principal operation of hydraulic system, its function, merits, application, design requirements and hydraulic fluid properties for transforming the energy in landing gear. Explain the working principle of pneumatic systems, brake management systems in landing gears for quick and easy operation. It is understand. Demonstrate the working principle of aircraft gas turbine engines, its airframe interfaces for controlling of air and fuel flow in aircraft systems. Interpret the need of fuel systems, its characteristics, safety and fuel inserting systems for ensuring uninterrupted flow in the engine. Recall the methods of flight engines and modern control systems used in aircraft for safe and sustained flight. Explain the futuristic application of modern control systems for enhancing aircraft performance, modern control systems and the autopilots. So like this we have the 10 course outcomes, and this has to be make sure that students are able to understand these all concepts. If you say we have to in this course outcomes, how much percentage of level of Bloom's taxonomy? If you see here, this is the, remember it is out of 10, this is only 10%. If you see here, the understanding is, so here just I am writing it is a 10%. Then here is the 60%. This one is the 30%. That is a apply and analyze is again 10%. Okay, so up to BTech level, this much you should be 100%. All students should be minimum up to this level. However, it is not a limited. Few students, maybe out of 65, 2, 3, 4, 5, they can reach to the evaluate, and out of 65, 2 to 3 students, they can go to create also. There is no problem in that. Okay, so, but we are drafting for a general whole class, and we are expecting that most of the students will be able to reach up to Bloom's taxonomy level 4, and that is the analyze. Okay, so up to there each and every one student has to reach. That is why you all have to work for this along with association with your faculty and try to make and try to get the knowledge as much as possible. Don't try only this remember. Then after remembering, you should go for understanding. Then after understanding, go for apply. Then you go for apply, analyze, then evaluate, and then create. Last, this you can go up to this level. Now, if program outcomes, these program outcomes are framed by the respective authorities, that is the government, Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India, and they have given some 12 program outcomes. So if you see here, program outcome 1, program outcome 2, program outcome 3, program outcome 4, I will be going one by one, and you will see the strength and proficiency assessment, how we are going to assess these all program outcomes. So this we can see here that the program outcomes, engineering knowledge, that is the first is the engineering knowledge. So this PO1 everyone should have. Every course PO1 has to be there because it is engineering course. So engineering knowledge, apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization to the solution of a complex engineering problem. So this everyone has to reach. Then PO2 is problem analysis. So in this, identify, formulate, review research literature, and analyze complex engineering problem, reaching substances contribution using first principle of mathematics, natural science, and engineering science. So this is the PO2. Okay, I think I have. Then we have to go to PO4. Conduct investigation of complex problem. Use research-based knowledge and research methods, including design of experiment, analysis and interpretation of data, and synthesis of the information to provide valid conclusion. Okay, so this we have to find out by the seminar, conferences, or the research paper. And the PO5 here is the model tool uses. In this, you can use the softwares like MATLAB, you can use the XFLR, you can use the ANSYS, you can use the other softwares of simulations like CFX and some other tools, CAD, CATIA, AutoCAD, all things you can use in this, and this can be achieved by using assignment and discussion on the class. Then we have to map this CO and PO. POs are there up to 12, and you can see there that PO1 is there in all, PO2 are there for some of this thing, PO5 are there, and here some PSOs are also there. So here PSO2 and PSO, and these PSOs are made for a specific objective, that is program specific objective, and these are prepared by the department itself. So mostly we have 2 to 3 PSOs. So PO1, PSO1, PSO2 and PSO3, they are prepared for the whole of your branch. For a total program, this program specific outcomes are made and they are matched and they are mapped for the requirement. So here I am going to conclude this lecture. In this you see that the course objectives, course outcomes, program outcomes have to be set in such a way that the students should be able to obtain the masterly on the course. So we have to make sure, we have to prepare our course in such a way that we should be able to, the students should be able to get the sufficient knowledge on a particular course outcomes, and they should get a sufficient knowledge in the remember and understanding, apply, and then further level. Try to make your course in such a way that course outcomes that students should be able to understand all the things. The faculty, instructor, mentor have such approach that the student get sufficient knowledge, skill, and able to apply for evaluate the topic by its own, and the industry should get the skilled workforce within the college. Every industry want that whatever they get the manpower, they should be sufficiently skilled. They should have sufficient knowledge so that they can be immediately applied for the production of the industry. Industry doesn't want that they should be trained for 2 years, 3 years, or so many years, because they will lose so much finances. So industry want a very good skilled, so that by 1 month or 2 month training you should be useful for the industry. Then only industry will hire the people. So it is our duty, the instructors and faculty and the college has to make sure that students should get sufficient knowledge so that the industry will be able to take them for the required purpose. These are the references I have taken from this website, that is it is given here, and these are the sources from where I have taken the. Thank you very much for this class. From the next class onwards, I will be starting my aircraft systems, and I will go first lecture with the introduction to the aircraft system. And thank you very much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.